Hi everybody and welcome to our delayed but definitely not forgotten week 4 video. I hope you're recovering well from Hurricane Irma. Like I said in my emails, we were very lucky where I live, and I hope that you're recovering well and had minimal damage to where you live and are not in danger at this point. So I wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on with the course and some changes I've made to try and account for the time that we were out of school and make sure everybody has time to get their assignments in. So first, let me start with the week 3 assignments. Those were supposed to be due this past Monday on September 11th. And obviously, they weren't due. I gave you guys an extension because of the hurricane and all those circumstances. What I've decided to do for those assignments is week 3, which is the week 3 discussion forum, and the field notes. That's your field experience where you were watching your administrator for 4 days, and you had the various aspects you had to put in there from the rubric I sent out last week. So I decided to move both of those back and make them due on Wednesday, September 20th. So Wednesday, September 20th, both of those are due. However, if you could please try, if you're able, to get your initial discussion forum post in by this upcoming weekend, that will give everybody else time to respond to that. So again, everything's due on 9/20. That's your 3 posts and your field notes. And again, to turn in the field notes, you're going to click on the link under coursework, under week 3, and you're going to click on that link. It'll take you into Chalk and Wire, and you can submit it that way. And in discussion forum, try and do your first discussion post by this week, and then you'll be able to get everything out by next Wednesday. So those are those 2 things for week number 3. Week number 4 technically started for us on Tuesday, yesterday, and what I've decided to do for week number 4 is extend that a week. So everything was going to be due on this Monday, 9/18. It's reading chapter 4 in the book and doing the week 4 discussion forum, and I'm going to go ahead and extend that by a week. So it would have been due on 9/18. It is now due on 9/25. And by the way, guys, you'll see these dates reflected in the coursework page. It'll show you there each week what those due dates are now. For week 5, I decided to try and get us back on track. I gave you a few extra days until 9/28. And again, week 5 is just reading chapter 5 in the book and then doing discussion forum. Now this one's different because we have a group presenting, and I'll get back to that in just a moment. But what I want to try and make sure everybody understands, it's really, really important you try and post her in the first 4 days or so of the week, definitely by the 5th day of the week, so that you can have time for your classmates, your colleagues, to go ahead and post their piece in there. So again, week 4, I gave you an extra week till 9/25. Week 5, I'm giving you 3 extra days until 9/28. Now, week 5 discussion forum group, I'm going to ask you guys, and let me look that up real quick, give me a second. I'm going to ask that group who's on week 5 to make sure you still have your content ready to start the week. So week 5 should start on 9/19, that's Tuesday. So week 5 group, unless you have some kind of extenuating circumstance that you haven't told me about yet, please let me know, and I can work with you guys on that. And of course, while I'm doing a live video, nothing is coming up. So give me 1 second, guys. I want to make sure I have the right information for you. And here that is. So, all right, looks like Andrew and Kelly. Andrew and Kelly, you are our week 5 discussion group. So just a reminder what you're doing here. And again, I gave you an extra week, extra couple days on the other assignment. So hopefully you're caught up. But the week 5 group, so by 9/19, that's this upcoming Tuesday, you need to make sure you have posted in there some content about Chapter 5. So give us an outline, give us some information, some important cases. I'm going to go back and discuss Chapter 4 in a minute because that's one of mine still. But I want to make sure that you guys get some good content in there that tells everybody what this chapter is really about. And then you're going to post some discussion forum questions. You can require the class to do a video like this. I'm trying to encourage you guys to step outside the box, or a presentation, or maybe some kind of a Prezi or something interactive online. I see some really cool stuff that y'all have done the last couple of weeks. So really encourage you guys to step outside of the box, do things differently. I started slow. We move out to that point. So those are some important things to think about coming up. Weeks 3, 4, and 5. So I gave you the deadline dates there are changed. Watch this video again if you want. Week 3, 9/20. Week 4, 9/25. Week 5, 9/28. What I'd like to do, unless any of you have extenuating circumstances, which you can let me know about, you can call me, you can text me, you don't have to send an email, but feel free to call or text me. I want to try and get us back on track in week 6 and week 7 so we don't have to move the midterm. I want to try and keep things spaced out so you have time to study for the midterm and get that done during week 8, which is it's the middle of October, basically. So it's like the 10-10, I think it opens, and it closes on 10-16 is that midterm exam. And you have a whole week to take it there. I want to try not to infringe on that because I know people have busy schedules. Again, if we get to that point and we have to move it back, I will, but the hope is we won't have to do that. All right. 2 more things I want to talk about before we get to Week 4 content. Number 1 is to look ahead at the other 2 WCG assignments you've got to do before that midterm. The first one is the professional behaviors. That is WCG number 2, and WCG number 2 is going to be done during week number 6, which is 9/26. So a week from Tuesday upcoming, and that is the inventory piece, and some of you already submitted it, which is great. Then the next week, week 7, compliance inventory due. I'm going to get back to you guys on that one with more information, but start looking ahead. Look in your syllabus. The information, WCG number 3, you're going to find that on page 6 of your syllabus. It has all the information there. I will go ahead and pull the rubric too, like I did last time. Send it to you guys for those as they come closer, but we still have a couple of weeks for that. WCG number 2 due on October 2nd. WCG number 3 due on October 9th. None of your other WCG assignments are due until after the midterm. So don't worry about them yet, but start looking ahead just so you're aware of what you've got to do because they get more involved. And that's why they're later in the semester. And I will take some time as we get closer to talk about them more. All right, let's see if my computer wants to cooperate now because it never does when you're doing a video. And considering I'm 7 minutes in now, I'm not starting over, so you guys can laugh all you want at your professor. It's okay. I still love you. Let's see. All right, so I want to talk about the wrong class, sorry. Yep, there we go. You can tell I haven't been at work in a couple of weeks, right? Yes. All right. Chapter 4 in your text. Chapter 4 in your text talks about a few things. It talks about the school curriculum. It talks about censorship. It talks about parental challenges. It's a very, very contentious topic right now, especially because what we're talking about right now might change. If you've been watching House Bill 7069, and as I see more information come out about that one, I'll bring it to you, you're going to see that the state of Florida laws are changing. And so we're guided, remember, by 2 sets of laws. You got the U.S. Department of Education, which follows the Constitution, whatever Congress puts out. Then you've got the Florida Department of Education, which follows whatever the state legislature does. And here's the funny thing. State laws cannot infringe on federal laws. In other words, they can't deny your rights. It doesn't mean what you can or can't do. It just can't deny your rights. So, for example, we have to have that separation of church and state that we've talked about already in a previous chapter. It's one of those things that's really important. However, one of the things that's coming up with House Bill 7069 deals with parental challenges of curriculum and what they do and don't want you to teach. Now, for those of you who are science geeks like myself, and I taught science, I think you all know that, that's a very, very contentious topic when you get to teaching Darwin. And of course, you have that big battle of those who are ultra-conservative religious versus those who are liberal and look more at the Darwin theories. But again, it comes back to what the state is going to allow. And I've been talking with the state because a lot of House Bill 7069 concerns my certification stuff I do with my district. And so I've been in contact with them, and they're still developing all the policies that are going to relate to that. So that's something to really look at. It's really going to come up as a big piece, I think, in this next year. Definitely by the time we get to the end of the semester, we'll know more. And as I get that information, I'll bring it to you because it's really important you understand the law. I go back to a comment I made the first video, and I think even when I saw you guys this past summer, those of you who were in Dr. Hassan's class, the law is not wise, the law is not just, the law is the law, and we have to follow it. So that's a really, really important piece. Some other things later in Chapter 4 talk about academic freedom. You don't have the same freedoms in K-12 as you do in post-secondary. That's a really important piece to understand. That's one of the things I love about teaching in a college. I have some flexibility on what I can do as long as I cover the standards, whereas those of you in the K-12 environment in the public schools know we've been more strapped down on standards than what used to be happening in our schools. Last two things. Copyright compliance. Very, very important that you read the copyright law compliance stuff. Believe it or not, there's some things you can do that academic focus that you wouldn't think you can do when it comes to copyright law. And related to that is the fair use doctrine, which is where certain things with copyrights can be used for educational purposes. I'll give you one example I did a lot as a classroom teacher. I taught space. What's a better way to teach kids about the dangers of space and why we've not traveled beyond the moon? At least people have not. We've got all these great ships. I watched a great thing on Voyagers the other night that was really cool. Yes, science geek. Sorry, guys. Science geek here. Love space travel. But it was really neat. I'd show the kids Apollo 13. And in showing it, it is a copyrighted movie. But I'm allowed to show it as long as I'm not doing it for making a profit, for exhibition, and there's an educational purpose, which just falls under that fair use doctrine. I'm using it to educate students about the dangers of space flight. And so if they ever made a video, a movie about Challenger, which I grew up with, or Columbia, which happened more recently, those would be some things that definitely you'd want to show, or at least make the kids aware of, so they know those dangers of traveling in space and why we do a lot of unmanned space probes. So again, an example there of how fair use kind of fits into things. Another one I saw that was really cool for you language arts teachers, I was in a classroom and they were studying poetry, and this teacher pulls out this poem, and I'm reading the words, and I'm like, hey, I know that. And she goes back, now you guys must know this because it's a Katy Perry song, the song Roar. And so it was really neat how the teacher took this copyrighted song by Katy Perry, but as an educational purpose to look at the different parts of a poem and how they work, and they analyze this poem in the class. It was just a really neat example of, again, using a copyrighted work for educational purposes, not for personal gain, not for growth, financial gain, things like that, but definitely for an educational purpose to teach kids how, those you non-language arts people out there like me, what is the use of poetry outside of learning about it in academic school? Well, it's there in music, and most music is poetry in the way it's written, with the rhymes and the things they do. So kind of just a neat example there for you. Okay, I've gone well beyond 12 minutes now, approaching 13. I'm going to stop. I hope you guys are safe and recovering well. And again, any questions, let me know. Look at those new due dates. They're not in the syllabus. I didn't update that. They're updated online for you, so you can look at the online piece in that coursework page and get those updated due dates. I'll send a reminder out as well as we get closer to the 20th to make sure you guys have submitted things, and I'll be looking again to make sure folks have gotten their work in. Okay, guys? Hope you're doing well, and I will talk to you soon.